My name's Sam, and I'm a new creation. God's changed me, and here's a short version of the journey. So, like a lot of people, I come from a split family. Parents divorced. Never remember them together. Was raised in the military by my stepfather. Was severely physically and mentally abused. Went through a lot of that, living on base, getting the snot beat out of me, which I guess wasn't so bad because you learn how to defend yourself at a young age. But moving forward, I got in a lot of trouble. As a child, 11 years old, started smoking cigarettes, smoking marijuana. That escalated pretty quickly. At 12 years old, was kicked out, moved in with my real father, where I started riding motorcycles, dirt bikes. Went from being extremely locked up to extremely free and being able to do whatever I wanted to. So then the drinking started, the crank started, all that. We didn't have meth back then, we had crank. So started going down that road. Found Jesus when I was about 13 and a half at church. Was baptized a week later. So that seed was planted real young. But as soon as you take that step forward, here comes the enemy, right? So went right back, started breaking into people's houses, kept doing drugs, whatever I could do to get the money to do the drugs. And at 14 years old, I was looking at 4 counts of grand theft auto and 6 counts of driving without a license. And so my dad didn't want me no more. So didn't know what to do. Moved to San Jose with my grandma. Had even more freedom. About 16 years old, got hooked on methamphetamines. Wasn't too bad. Did that for a couple years. Started doing LSD every Friday for about 2 years. Couldn't tell you how much of that, and just kept going down that path, trying to fill the emptiness, the feeling of no one cares, no one loves me, right? And so I just kept going, and did about every drug in the book. When I was 18, 10 days before my 19th birthday, was in a bad motorcycle accident. Ended up in the hospital. That kind of sobered me up from those drugs. But then I got hooked on pain pills and went down that whole road of pain pills for a few years. Took 5 years to recover from that accident. And during that time, I started making music. So I kind of got in with that crowd, fell right back into doing drugs, smoking weed, popping pills, smoking weed, drinking alcohol. Went to music school in Hollywood, went down there, did that for a year, had a music career, doing shows. Hollywood's everything, you can think of it was, and more. Got real depressed, didn't want to live anymore, just wanted to die. Tried drinking myself to death, tried popping pills, nothing worked. So this whole time, I'm doing all this and I can't figure out why can't I die? Well, now I know it's because God had a purpose for me. So after that, moved back home, kind of sobered up a little bit. I never stopped smoking weed, always had a problem with weed. That was my, I could quit any other drug, but weed was my crutch. I couldn't stop. Hooked up with this girl who I dated off and on throughout high school. Asked her to marry me. She said yes. Got married, had a kid. The day my daughter was born, I wept like a baby. It was probably the first time I cried since I was a kid. And I just couldn't explain it. I don't know, it was weird. Something changed in me. I didn't want to do the drugs anymore. So I quit. I quit doing the cocaine. I quit drinking. I didn't want to do it anymore. Quit making music. I just stopped it all. Didn't quit smoking weed. Continued to grow weed, smoke weed, sell weed, all that. As she got older, went through the whole thing of we were homeless, 2 years old, homeless with a 2-year-old, and that was an adventure. And I remember praying and going, God, what am I doing? I got this kid. I got to take care of this kid, and things just started falling in place. I got a job, started working, went from being homeless to where I am now, which is where He wants me. It was about 4 years ago now. I was working with a good friend of mine who's a member of Soldiers of the Cross, and every week he would ask me, hey, why don't you come to church? And well, maybe next week. Hey, why don't you come to church? Well, maybe next week. And finally I said, all right, yeah, let's go. Why not? And went to the church, sat as far away as you can. And it was, I can't explain it. It's like the preacher was talking straight to me, like no one else was there, and he was just talking to me. And so I started going to church, but I was still, go to church, go home, get high, go to church, go home, get high. And then it kept going, and one night I was sitting in front of my house, trying to fight with my wife, sitting in front of my house, after my truck took off, sitting in front of Quick Stop, about 2:30 in the morning, and I was just, God, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. Help. And I heard a voice, and it said, give it to me, and I ignored it. I was high. And He said again, give it to me. And I said, okay. Got up, threw all my weed in the garbage can, and said, okay, that's it. Went back home, laid down, went to bed, woke up. Next day, stayed sober. Next day, stayed sober. Next day, stayed sober. And in 7 days, it'll be 3 years since that day.
Come on, of course.
And, when He truly sets you free, He sets you free. And that's it. That was it. There was no looking back. And then from there, I wanted to learn. So I rededicated my life to the Lord. Asked Him to come back in. Lord, save me, Jesus. And He did. And I asked Him to remove the toxic people from my life and give me people that would help me grow, and that would follow Him and teach me. I did a class at a church, a ministry class. Did that and commissioned from that, and then I learned a lot doing that class. And then I ended up teaching that class. Actually, just taught it last year. Started coming to Bible studies here at Soldiers of the Cross, and that was it. I really never looked back. It's been 2 years, a little over 2 years. I've been a member now, and I've learned a lot. I'm registered with the state of California as a minister, licensed minister, and I just want to push the kingdom of God. If He could take me, who was not loved, was a drug addict, was all these things, and set me free, and use me to reach other people, then He can do it for anybody. And that's the whole purpose of this. That's the whole purpose of sharing testimony. I know there's people out there like myself who've been through some of the things I've been through, and if you feel it, if you think it, it's there, it's real. Don't doubt. Call on Jesus, and He will set you free. He will come in your life. He will change your whole life. I couldn't tell you how many brothers now. I have more friends now, more brothers now, than I ever had friends when I was in the music industry and I was doing all these drugs and selling drugs. Real brothers, real friends, people I can call on that'll pick me up when I fall down, that'll help me, that'll pray for me, that'll pray with me. And so that's it. That's my story.
Come back to the waters, find rest in the stream. Here my heart is awakened to the beauty I've seen. Take me under the waters, baptize me again, drown me in your wonder, till I'm filled with your love. Oh,